All right, folks. I hope we're actually functional today. Sorry about the digital disruptions yesterday. Apparently, this whole work from home thing just don't have the same bandwidth as work that we have as at work. Or the problem maybe in this area is Donald is using up a lot of the bandwidth around this time of day. So, in any case, I wanted to catch back up with you and give you some updates. Tuesday, as I mentioned before, is the time we talk to our global guys, all the global tech center folks, and kind of get some of their updates, information that's going on in their places around the world. So thought I'd just share some of those with you. China, we'll start there and work our way around the globe. Industrial output there is down 8.4% year over year for the first quarter. Interestingly, though, March was only down about 1.1%, and things seem to be recovering. Their auto industry is off 45% year over year for the first quarter, but the electric vehicle sales are actually up. So they kind of got that as a bright spot going there. Biggest opportunity seems to be coming up in the construction area. I talked about, and there are big infrastructure bills, and so construction equipment is in high demand. First quarter is up 15% year over year, which are some pretty good numbers, and exports 40% up. So they're trying to mind all their continuous schedules, deadlines, keeping infrastructure projects going as essential businesses. So that's creating a lot of demand, and folks like Sany and Cat and Komatsu, Volvo, Liebherr, Doosan are all doing very well at this point. China, this is actually kind of interesting, is also having supply chain issues. Go figure. But in this case, they're trying to figure out how to bring back some of their foreign manufacturing back into China. And for our folks that are actually then doing business over through our tech center and in China, that's good news because they're going to be wanting to build up some of that probably low cost other Asian manufacturing, bring it back into China. And we'll give opportunities for our guys to be selling stuff there. So a little bit about China. India's PMI is at 51.8%, which is good. Anything over 50 is good, but not great. It's it's sluggish, but still positive. They're kind of at least holding steady and moving along above that 50% line. Over in Europe, VW's back in production at their Poland plant and their Germany plant. Porsche also has their Hungary plant back online. So automotive really starting to slowly move back in, even though hours in many cases are cut. They're moving production forward, which is then driving supply chain needs, which of course is good. There's also increased focus on EVs. So electronic vehicles have always been big in Europe, but they're actually now more of a double down on that and looking for more ways to expand their electric vehicle production, which is driving big demand for batteries. And in the past, they'd looked for a lot of foreign investment into developing their battery technologies. And now they're a little bit leery, especially of having Chinese companies coming in and buying up weak EV companies. And so the EU is putting some higher level scrutiny on who can do what kind of investments as they try to protect that industry. So that's kind of an interesting note there. Brazil not doing quite so well. They're still in lockdown, but they're trying to get a lot of their auto plants back up, much shorter shifts, 4 to 6 hour shifts instead of the normal 9+. They've had some crazy things happen in their Justice Department. Moro resigned. He's, going back at it with Bolsonaro. So they've got political issues, which isn't helping the economy, and it's kind of a little bit of a problem going on down there in Brazil. Mexico, on the other hand, they're being pretty aggressive about reopening up their manufacturing. And, so they really are looking to the U.S. auto industry, which you've heard Ford and Chrysler and GM all talking about what they're doing, slowly restarting their plants. That's going to trigger a lot of the supply chain all the way down into Mexico, and they're actually ready to turn on from their side of things. And they've been aggressive about coordinating with Lighthouser and a lot of the folks in the U.S. Trade Department, trying to make sure that they get that Mexico-U.S. Manufacturing supply chain going back and forth. A lot of small Mexican companies didn't get the stimulus opportunities we had here in the U.S. Interestingly enough, there's an association for mid-size manufacturers down there, and they went to the Inter-American Development Bank and were able to secure about $12 billion of financing for those some 30,000 small manufacturers. And I just bring that up because you can start to see how that spurs the supply chain. And if we're getting things from there, driving the parts that we're making, our auto companies or aerospace or other place picks up overall production. So got that going for us a little bit more than I normally cover, but I want to give you a glimpse of what's happening around the world. So hope you find that helpful. Again, any questions that come up there, get a hold of Ed Christopher, and he can either get you explicitly to one of our guys running of our tech centers around the world, or in many cases, he's got the answer right off the top of his head. So have a great day, and we'll catch you next round.